Well, hello everybody. This is Chrystallynn, and I thank you for joining my channel where I have been giving away one free weekly 15, most of the time 20-minute video. And I've been doing astrological readings. I pick one name out of the hat each week and just try to show you guys what I can do and what I can do for you. I think it's so important, especially going through the times, the astrological times that we're going through now, that we understand what's happening so we can ride the wave and not be tumbling underneath it, wondering why we can't ride the wave. It takes some training and it takes some understanding. And so that's my hopes. At the same time, I have had a special out all summer, you guys. 15 minutes for 65 bucks. And I send you a video just like this. And I was going to end it on September 30th. A lot of you have taken advantage of it, and I thank you for that. And but if you haven't, I'm going to extend it all the way till October 30th. So take advantage so I can keep doing these videos for you guys. Okay, well this, oh my gosh, you guys. Oh, I have to like totally, this whole chart right now is perfect timing. In fact, Patrick, he sent me an email several months ago and has been waiting patiently. So you see, some of you guys have sent me your birth dates, and you've just now been picked. So I don't even know where to start. I want to start with, you should be a writer and write a book. You wrote me the most awesome story, and I'm some of you guys know I go to Full Sail University working on a degree in creative writing. And I love reading stories and analyzing them and all these things. So I'm reading your story and I'm just like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? And the other thing I love about it is all my Pisces friends out there. You guys always write me such long, emotional and factual, letters, and keep them coming. I love them. And I know sometimes it's just getting something off our heart. And he definitely got some things off his heart in his message to me. So I'm going to try to slow down a little bit. My energy's super high over his chart. He's very intuitive. He was born March 16th, 1987 at 9 a.m. And he is a Taurus ascendant, Sun in Pisces, Moon in Libra, Mercury in Pisces, and I consider on the cusp of Aquarius and Pisces, so take note of that. Venus in Aquarius, right dab in the middle. Mars in Taurus, Lilith in Cancer, and all kinds of other stuff to talk about. But I wanted to talk to you and do something a little different today. You guys have seen the title of my video today. And I'm going to go into the mind of a Pisces. Because of the letter he wrote me, he had some very supernatural experiences, and they were life-changing for him. And these are the kind of experiences that you would only read about in a book or a horror film. And yet, for a Pisces, these can be everyday experiences. And for those of you who have a lot of earth in your chart and are very practical, and you don't have a lot of water in your chart, us watery signs, we just seem like we're totally out in space and nothing makes sense. And yet, if you have a lot of water in your chart, when we talk, we're just like magnetized to someone who has water in their chart. It's like they're speaking our language. And so I'm going to speak the language of a Piscean today. Although there's some other things I will tap on in your chart. First of all, I want to share, and he said I could. I want to share with you, let's see, I wrote everything down, a little bit of his story to me. I mean, this is so cool, you guys, that he would share this with me. First of all, he had a very, very spiritual experience. And starting in 2010, he lost his job, felt lost, parents divorced, lost his house, his car was stolen with the money, his laptop, his hookah. Oh my God, his hookah, and this shotgun. And so everything was gone, including $1,000, I think I remember he said. he was just devastated. So this is the beginning. This is in 2010. He didn't actually give me the date, but I'm going to bet it was around October, so we can see if I'm right. And then it gets worse. In late 2011, he had to move, and he had to find a place to live. He was staying with his girlfriend in their garage for a while, but he didn't want to lose his dog. See, his whole life he's losing everything else, but he's willing to do anything to keep his dog by his side. So take note of that too. So he moved into this place, and he met this friend, and there was a landlord, and I guess there must have been some other roommates. But when he got there, he got this super negative vibe. He was just feeling kind of creepy about it. And he only ended up connecting with one of the guys there. So I bet if we had his birthday, we could tell you what connection that you made. So this roommate began to tell him about the history of this dark past in the house. So there's this dark thing going on in the house. And he told him that the lady'd overdosed on heroin in the next room. So there's some negative energy going on. So anyway, that night or subsequent nights, him and his friends all went out. And Patrick drank too much. He got shit-faced. Totally shit-faced. And he blacked out. Okay? So make note of that. He blacked out. He doesn't even know how he got in his car. He thinks his friend drove him home. I think if I remember the story right. He doesn't even know, but he showed up. He showed up at his friend's house. But when he woke up, he was still in the car. So they couldn't drag him in the house because you're a really big guy, Patrick. And no one could drag you in the house. So they left your ass out in the car thinking, oh, he'll wake up in the morning, right? Well, you, don't forget all the Pisces and Cancer and Scorpio energy you have, were completely blacked out and walked in to somebody else's house, the neighbor's house, on accident. Doors open. What a convenience, right? Doors open. You walk into the house and stumble around the kitchen, and there waiting for you, Patrick, is, God, I just can't even imagine this. The homeowner standing there with a .357 Magnum and begins to take shots at you. 5 shots, aiming upward in your upper body. You got hit by 3 shots. And how they got you to the hospital and got you into surgery, you said you had some very magical and wonderful doctors, and they saved your life. Patrick, and I think you said you were there for 2 months. And so, talk about a dark moment in time. And yet, in your letter to me, what came from you now is that God was next to you. You felt your guardian angels. You felt a spiritual awakening in the depth of the darkness. In the depth of the ocean, you saw the light. And that is just so incredible. The story kind of goes on, unfortunately. I think it was the friend that he had connected with had ended up falling. Both guys lived at this house now, so that's kind of creepy. You know, what was in this house? I guess we're kind of wanting to skirt around that idea. But he'd fallen off a 20-foot something, must have been a house or a building, broke his pelvis and his legs. And when you got out of the hospital 2 months later, you went to see him, and he looked fine, and you're having a conversation with him, and you leave, and you find out 2 days later he actually passed away. So I mean, you're just left with so many questions, and yet there was something the whole time just holding you together deep within, and knowing that there's something bigger, and there's an answer, and there's a reason, and one day it'll be revealed to you. And hopefully today I can shed some light on some of this. So I'm actually going to take a break a minute. I'll be back in just a minute. I gotta just see, this is the power, you guys, of Moon and Pisces. I'm taking on this story right now as we speak, as if I was there. I'm like shaking. I do not know this person. I want you guys to see how powerful this influence is. For those of you who are writing me and you have Moon and Pisces, any placements in Pisces, please listen to me. This is such an amazing gift. And it's very powerful. And we need to learn how to use this energy in a healthy, awesome, healing, powerful way. And I'm going to take like 5 minutes, and the video should just click on like I'm back again, I guess. But I got to take a break. Okay, you guys, I'm back. I'm sorry, I had to lower the vibration, my vibrations right now, and this video may go into longer than I am planned, so I hope you guys enjoy it. It's going to be pretty in-depth. I just feel it coming right now, so I'm going to go with it. I don't know what I'm going to say, but it's coming. Again, the life of a Pisces. Patrick, there's a lot of things I could say about what you were going through. I know you asked me about some specific transits, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, and the 8th house, and I'm going to touch on that. But the planetary issue that turned your life upside down is screaming out to me what I believe to be the primary issue, and then all those other things take effect. So I'm going to look at that here a minute. First of all, your moon is in Libra, Patrick, and that's such a harmonic, beautiful place. And your ascendant's in Taurus. So not only are you able to pick up on the intense vibrations around you, but you pick up on the harmonic vibrations. You have a gift with music. I bet you can sing really well. I hope you're not hiding that voice, because you are a singer. I can see it. And if you say you're not, I'm going to make you give me a video with your voice on it. I want to hear it. You've got everything to be a beautiful singer, or you playing instruments, but you're very harmonic, so you understand the rhythms behind the scenes. But with the moon in Libra, we know that Saturn entered Libra in 2010, October of 2010, all the way until October. It might have even been September. I'll have to look. I'm sorry. I usually know that. It went all the way until October of 2012. Okay, so from about September of 2010 to October of 2012. I think that's about right. You can double check me, you guys. Saturn came in to the sign that rules your mind and your emotions, your deep partnerships, your deep harmonies in life. And he just basically kicked the shit out of you. He basically just turned your whole entire life upside down. And we see it here because if you look at your houses, let's take a look at your houses. First of all, you got hit just in your whole outer life, your whole outer appearance, kind of your identity, another part of your identity, your 5th house, how you appear to the world. You got hit starting in 2007. You know, and looking at your 4th house in Leo, things were even going on when Saturn was in Leo, going all the way back to 2004, 2005. So that was probably when this family stuff was starting to really brew. In 2007, you really started feeling it. Saturn was in Virgo, and anything that had to do with anything that you were doing, projects, ideas for life, you're really young, so it might have been happening through your family or other people. And then when Saturn came into Libra in your 6th house of work and the development of partnerships and work, you lost your job. It was your best job you ever had, and you lost it. Best job you ever thought you had. And then, you know, and from there, it just has gone, it's been tough. And when we talk about these Saturns, you guys, I just hope, especially since you're young and you haven't even hit your first Saturn yet, which is in Sagittarius, you have to trust that there's a time in life we live our ideals. We have these big grand visions and dreams. And we'll steal, we'll cheat, we'll do anything we can to get them. Whether it's relationships or something, we want it. And we get it. We fight for it. And Saturn comes through and it reminds me of, like, you know, taking something and putting it through the fire. And it's refining, and all the rubble just burns off. And at the end of that fire, at the end of that Saturn, is the piece of gold awaiting. And you've been in that process as a young man. Right now, Saturn is in Scorpio. Now that bleeds over into your 7th and 8th house right now. So I have Scorpio in the 8th house myself, and this has been very, needless to say, intense. The most intense period of my life of digging deep into my childhood, my psychological background, who I am, who everybody else is. You know, it's like I want to dive down to the depth of the underbelly to find out the answers of life. I'm not afraid to look in the darkness. You know, as a Pisces, and here I'm going to go, you guys. So all you Pisces, buckle your seatbelt, okay? Because I'm gonna take us on a little ride here. And those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, you better get used to it, because this is going to be everywhere. With Neptune and Pisces, the Pisces are coming out of the woodwork, and we finally have a voice. And it's kind of scary, because the first 35 years of my life, I was raised and I was living a very traditional, conservative faith and background. And so somebody saying to me I could hear what's happening on the other side, or I can talk to someone who's passed, those things were not allowed in my mind, because I was taught that once you cross over, you know, you're over, and we don't see you till we get there. And I'm going to tell you a little story about myself, so I hope this applies. I'll try to bring it back around to you, Patrick, I promise. I had a very, very, very deep spiritual connection with that traditional God that I understood. And I had faith enough for 100 people. I really did. And it was something that just was given to me at childhood. I did a reading, or I should say, I did a reading with the world-renowned astrologer, Stephen Forrest. I actually got to go to his house, and it was a 2.5-hour reading, you guys. I'm still reeling from it. So I get readings as well, but these are so intense that I drove 4 hours out to his house. My husband took me out there, and if you guys want to look him up, he's just a 30, 40-year veteran, evolutionary astrology. I mean, if I could say I have a guru, it would be Stephen Forrest. I just highly respect this man, and oh my gosh, just telling you a little piece of some of the things he shared with me, because I have a Pisces rising and a Pisces moon. And he said, the faith that you had as a child would be faith that's envied by monks who live in isolation, searching out just a glimmer of what you have understanding for. And it just blew me away of perspective, and so what is it that's happening? Well, Patrick, when I look at your chart, and I'm going to get back to my story, you have a Venus in Aquarius. Aquarius is the highest vibration. If we were sitting at my table drinking coffee together and we were talking, you would interrupt me and say, what's that noise? And I would say, what noise? And you would say, I don't know, that noise, that humming. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? And you'd get up and you'd start heading to the kitchen. And you go, it's coming from over here. And the next thing you know, you'd be at the refrigerator. And the refrigerator's humming. It's like, what? The refrigerator's humming? Are you kidding me? That's what you can hear? I've totally tuned out the humming of the refrigerator. It doesn't even... No, you feel the vibrations behind the vibrations. And because your Mercury's in Pisces, you are so psychic, and it's like a tunnel way. It's a tunnel way that people can communicate with you, and you can communicate with others, picking up on their vibrations, their energies. So back to my story. I'm all over the place, you guys, I know. Just hang on. I told you to buckle your seatbelts. I'm in my full Pisces moon right now. I'm not even holding back. So here it is. Crazy and all. All right. So I'm coming from this traditional background, and I'm having all these spiritual questions because I've been so devoted. And I had a tragedy here at my ranch. This is my ranch. And I had a horrible tragedy. I had actual killer Africanized bees set up camp in a weird way. Not normally in this area, but now they are. And literally just attacked my whole ranch. There was over 500,000 of them, and they killed 2 of my horses. And it's really hard for me to still talk about it. It happened almost 5 years ago. But I don't know. I just lost it. My faith. I was lost, like you. Just this moment, this crisis of faith. It's like I was in a box, and I was only allowed to stay in here. But yet my spirit was crying out that there's more. There's more understanding. There's more to life. And I was blocked. And so I've had this friend of mine who was helping me with my website at the time, and he was like really into psychic stuff and weird stuff, and it was like really dark to me. I was like, oh, it's like black magic. And he was, really dear friend of mine, and he had a friend of his that owed him a few bucks, and he said, you should call her. She's a psychic, because he could see I was in so much turmoil. And I said, a psychic? I can't call a psychic. That's against my faith, my religion. And he just goes, oh, just call her. Don't tell her anything, though. See if she really does know things. Don't tell her about anything. So it was like a half an hour over the phone reading. So I called her. I'm like, I'm going to do it. What's going to happen to me? I was feeling really rebellious. Like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? I guess I'll just suffer the consequences. I just wanted to shake the tree. Come on, there's more to this, you guys. And yet, my faith in God was not being shaken. My perception, my connection to Him was so there. It was the outer way of which I was experiencing it was becoming like the walls were closing in on me. And I called her, and she said, I was trying to ask her questions about relationships and stuff, and I was going through divorce, and I wanted to ask her all these questions. And all of a sudden she goes, why do I see land around you? And I said, well, what do you mean? And she said, well, I see this land around you. I said, well, yeah, it's a ranch I had, but I'm losing it, because I was losing it at the time. That was during Saturn and Virgo. Thank you very much. I'm a Virgo. My whole property was being demolished. And I was losing everything I'd built for 10 years, this horse ranch. I was losing it. I was having to give it back to the bank. I couldn't even sell it. It was going to go up for auction. It was so devastating. And she said, well, I see Native Americans around you. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? Because I wear a lot of turquoise, and I always have, and so I thought maybe she picked up on that. She said, no, it's around this property, and they drew you to it. I'm like, what? So I didn't tell her at the moment, and I never put 2 and 2 together, but I knew when I bought the property in 2001 that this was actually, as we speak, what I'm looking at right now behind me, it was a Native American village. And if you look way up there, let's see if I can do it, you guys. Hang with me. Way out in that field. Can you see it? Well, I've lived out here in Menifee, California for 25 years. And I've been riding my horse to these rocks for 20 years before I ever even knew what this property was. It used to be an old nursery. And then it was abandoned for 7 years. Really weird. And they said, yeah, they drew you here. And all of a sudden I remembered all the times riding my horse here, drawn to these rocks, driving down the road, going way out of my way so I could drive by the rocks. They just made me feel good. But I never put 2 and 2 together. I just liked the rocks. That's what I thought. And then she said, they've been watching you. And they know what you've done, and they know your heart for this land, which is true. I've been like crazy over it. And they're going to help you keep it. They're going to help you keep it. And I hung up the phone, and against everything I knew to be true, I knew deep in my heart she was right. And 5 years later, I'm still here. I'm in the middle of writing the Black Feathered Children's Book, which is a story about a young cowgirl who has an encounter on the rocks with a shaman, and he gives her wisdom and words for life. And she's able to take that back and save her ranch. And, some of you out there will read it in my children's book and go, wow, what an imagination this young girl has. And those of you who know what I'm talking about will know it's more than imagination. So I hope this was helpful. Talk to you soon.
And every long lost dream that led me to where you are, and others who broke my heart, they were like northern stars, pointing me on my way into your loving arms.
This is a
This much
Jupiter
I
and Pisces boy.
know is true.
What?
That God
But see, her
bless
tail's
the
wagging. She's
broken
not happy.
road led me
Set her
straight to
down.
you.